To avoid having a conversation about microphones today. We've allowed that to dominate too much airtime.
It's certainly topical, but let me then start with something else that I just realized. You and I have that was a good slurp. I could hear
Go
that.
on.
The You and I have historically had similar tastes in shoes.
Yeah.
I think we diverged a little bit at some point. I think at some point you got more into the hype looking shoes than me. I just can't pull them off. You were more of a you're more fashionable guy than I am overall.
I'll take
And
it.
but I'm curious to see whether you think that in the hierarchy of shoes, sneakers in specifically like Adidas sneakers and Nikes, the coolest ones you can get are the ones that cost like $1,000. They look cooler. Like those Travis Scott.
Yeah.
I like. What are they called?
The Jordan ones.
Yeah, the ones with the backward
They're
swoosh.
I looked them up 3 days ago to see. Yeah.
They're
When I was in London,
$1,000.
they had them at like Harrods for like 3 or 4 grand. You know what I mean? Like they're getting more and more expensive, but they are awesome. You're right.
They look cool. The worst shoes are the ones that are for men. The coolest shoes are the women's colorways in almost all sneakers. And I don't know if you agree with that or not, but there are like, I'm looking at some right now that I'm like, these actually look good. I would wear these. They don't sell them in men's size.
There's been a few like that recently, but I wouldn't say the best, but there's definitely been a few where I'm like, why can't I have that too? Right?
Yeah.
But I think that's after years and years and years and years and years of every coolest shoe being men's. Which ones are you looking at? I'm curious.
I'll pull them up. You know, it's funny you say that because I'm looking at some that hang on, I gotta present.
There was a pair by
So I don't know about these ones
Manir.
specifically, but I'm popping through. I think those look great.
Yeah,
You know
those
what
are
I
good.
like? I like the midsole
Speckles.
when it's not white. I like non-white midsoles. If they
Yeah.
are cut like specked like this, or if they're gradient, that's kind of cool. I like that. I
Gradient's really
don't
cool. Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't think these are very
I
exciting.
think it's had its day. I agree. I think those are when those came out, just the look of the Ultra Boost sole was really cool and it was a
Mhm.
novelty. And now it's,
They're on what, series
yeah,
5. It's
yeah.
kind of,
I have a pair of the original. The only pair of Ultra Boosts I have are the original ones in their navy blue with a white sole, but the navy blue has like a neon green sort of subtly speckled into it, and they're awesome. But
yes.
like that's the exception, not the rule, right? Because the black ones don't look cool, the red ones don't look cool,
Yeah, and
but the
Josh got
speckles are
me.
cool.
Agreed. And for all our viewers, Josh got me a pair of the what are they? The
The Air
Air
Max Day.
One Air Max Day with the Volt Green midsole. They're like the
Yeah,
best shoes. I walked into that. I told you the story because that's
yeah,
how you knew to get them.
yeah.
I walked into the Nike town. And they had them on the wall. All right, can I try those on a 13? They're like, two of
Yeah.
them. He wants to try these on. No,
Hey, get a little of this guy.
no,
Wants to
you cannot
on
try.
our
You cannot
shoes.
try these on. You cannot try these on. Yeah, maybe if you go back to
These
2011.
shoes are not for trying on. These are not shoes to be tried on. These are shoes to know. These are shoes to covet. And they are
That,
most of all, they are not shoes for you. Now
that's one of the
go
reasons I like Common Projects because the midsoles are
to pay to play
not.
brand.
They're not white. What do you mean pay to play?
I mean, common projects you can find pretty much everywhere in the best colors and styles because they're $400 a pair. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
They're the you have money version of a sneaker release.
True.
You don't
You
have
know,
to wait
it's
in line.
I don't know that I've ever paid. I have 3 pair now, and I don't know that I've paid full price for any of them. They go on sale, and I think a
That's
lot of
pretty
people
good.
they don't buy the. I have a pair of I have the gray ones, which I love.
Yeah,
I'm
I have them
actually
too.
I'm nervous about them wearing out.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I think I remember them saying that they'll resole Common Projects.
that would be
Maybe
great.
I'm wrong about that, but I mean, at that price, you would hope they'd do something.
I don't
Because they
know.
do, the soles do wear down quickly. I wear
They
mine a
do.
ton too, and like or do mine wear unevenly, which I hate. Like
Well, I
inside
mean,
wears more than the outside.
yeah, I think that's just a. I bet every pair of shoes you have has the same wear
It
pattern. If
does.
that's
It does.
it's your
Yeah.
gait, right? More than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I don't know that they can resole. Those things are sewn on. I don't know. They're not. They're
Yeah.
not like usually. I've never had a pair of shoes resoled, but I think the ones you can actually resole are the ones that are nailed
Welted.
on.
Or
Yeah.
welted. The Goodyear welt. Are you familiar?
No.
It's a thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to describe it, but there's a brand. So there's several brands of shoes, high-end shoes, offer the Goodyear welt, and I believe it's just the way that the upper of the shoe is attached to the sole. But I don't know any more than that. I know it's a
Is
mark
that
of quality, though.
is that Goodyear like the tire company?
Goodyear, the tire companies, welding shoes or welting shoes. You got Michelin rating restaurants. The tire business is wild, right? I can't keep straight. You got the Goodyear blimp, right? And then you
Yeah.
have, someone who has a good year, which is completely unrelated to tires. So, you
Yeah.
tell me, you sort that one out.
Bridgestone's making golf balls.
Yeah, Bridgestone's making golf balls. What the hell? I mean, why are tire companies? What? That's the weirdest thing in the world. How are these 3 tire companies all so? You know who would know is your wife.
She would. She
Yeah.
and I'm sure she has an answer. Maybe we'll have her on as our first guest.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think
Good idea.
it goes back to that thing, right? What we were talking about last year, like Mitsubishi makes
Yeah.
refrigerators and computer screens or whatever, cars. These just old manufacturing companies made everything. Goodyear is no
Yes.
different. Bridgestone, apparently.
Oh, I think I actually heard that Michelin, from college, whose nickname was Toilet, still is Toilet, but not used as much anymore, calls the Michelin guide, the Michelin restaurant guide, which I love that he adds that. He's so cultured, he has to say Michelin, but his nickname is Toilet.
Well, how cultured do you have to be to reference the Michelin restaurant guide?
What do you call it?
Enough Michelin. I just say it's got.
Yeah.
We go to restaurants every once in a while, and you'll read about them, especially when we live in big cities like you and I do.
Well, you've got a 3-star near you. The in at
Which one?
Little Virginia or something, or
Oh, yeah, but
Little
that's
Virginia.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've never been there.
Yeah.
It's pretty far from the city. It's a place that people in the suburbs go to have.
I mean, I don't blame them. It's a 3-star. It's a 3 Michelin star restaurant. You know
Yeah,
how hard it is to get 3 Michelin stars. Anyway,
You know who
I
I'm-
think that
yeah,
came
go ahead.
about because they were trying to sell cars,
that's right.
right? That's the
They were
story
trying to
there.
get people to. Well, they were trying to sell tires. They were getting people to wear their tires out faster by saying you should go to these restaurants that are far out of the way.
Brilliant. Now, let's connect those dots to how the Yamaha people made their first keyboard. do you think that they wanted people to be taking their kids back and forth to piano lessons? And
I
they
think
thought,
Yamaha keyboards were very popular amongst touring musicians of a certain genre of music. And they said, what's going to work for these guys? We got to get them there. We got to get them to these gigs. And I said, I don't know that a sedan really fits our clientele. I think we got to get a 2-wheel bike.
yeah,
Slap a motor on it.
very small motor, very like minimum motor that will move the car. We're not
Basically a
passing anyone on
moped.
the highway. Yeah, right.
Basically a moped. We got to get
Let's
him to
make
these
those
gigs.
folks at Honda look fast. Okay, that makes sense.
Maybe
Well,
that's
it's
it.
funny when I think Yamaha, I think, the when I say movie based in the Middle East, modern movie based in the Middle East, or like 90s early Gulf War conflict movie based in the Middle East, and I say Yamaha van, does an image pop into your head of like the van that is always driving around in the Middle East in those movies? It looks like it's from the 80s or something. It's always some weird brand that you'd never expect, like Mitsubishi or Yamaha. And like maybe it has like a half bed of a pickup truck on it, but like a really short one. That's what I think of when I think of Yamaha, not the bikes.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made anything but bikes and keyboards, obviously.
Yeah,
but I'll take your word for it. Argo.
They may not. Yeah, Argo. Yeah, good. There you go. You picked right up on it.
Yeah.
Was that in the Middle East? That was in the Middle East, right?
Yeah. Well, Iran, if you want to call Iran the Middle East. How do you not remember that? It's kind of a big deal back then.
The Middle East is a very weird term, like it's a very weird geographical term. The Middle East.
I'm listening.
The Central West. Like, where's the Central West? Where's the Southern North? Like, I don't know. It seems. Where's the
Lower South?
Where's the lower? I guess the Deep South. That's a thing.
Midwest.
Like, how can something be Middle East? That doesn't even make sense. Middle of what? East of what? I don't get it. I've accepted it and I'm going to use it, but I don't get it.
I wonder if other places on the planet refer to that region as the Middle East, or if it's just us.
Because it isn't the Middle East for them. It's like maybe the North, the very near North.
Well, we used to call China the Far East, right? I mean, maybe they still do. I don't know.
No,
you don't hear that very often.
Referred to as, the Far East Asia. Yeah, I think that's still a term.
So I guess in relative terms, that Middle East makes sense, I guess. But like Eastern East, Middle East, Far East, Near East, is that Europe? Should we start calling Europe the Near East?
Well, I guess Near East would be like, well, it depends on what coast you're on. If you're on the West Coast, Near East is Japan. Far East would be China. No, actually, that would be West. That would be near West. See, this is why it's a circle. The globe is a circle. It doesn't make sense to refer to anything as Middle East. That's crazy.
Maybe that's what we do. We redraw the map.
I am.
Lay it out.
I'm really obsessed with maps. Like, I'm a big believer in, if you want to give, especially men, something to do, map.
Cartography.
Just give them a map and turn them loose.
You have that big one. Do you still have it? I remember you had that in Seattle.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I don't want to grab it. I don't have that one anymore, but I just got a new one that I'm planning on putting up
right back there.
Yeah.
You were putting pins. Weren't you putting pins in the you had a big, I mean, it was big. It wouldn't fit on the wall behind you. Yeah,
it was like it was from IKEA. It was the IKEA wall size, which they don't sell anymore, because I was just at IKEA this past weekend. Nice little Saturday with the wife. Went down to IKEA, looked at some cabinets, decided we didn't want any right now. Instead, got some light fixtures that are sitting half assembled on the table out there. But that was a cool map, and I was tracking where I went in the world. It was canvas. It was a canvas map that had that. Do you ever buy one of those pictures from IKEA? One of the big ones. They sold a bunch of cool ones. Comes with an aluminum like collapsible frame, and you have to kind of tuck the canvas under the aluminum with this. It's pretty clever, but it's big and unwieldy. So once you get that thing up and then down again, it doesn't go up a third time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like, it's not worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so are you going to put pins in the one you're hanging behind you?
I think I'm going to frame it. Okay. I might try to hammer them in through the glass, but I'm not sure if that will work.
It might. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's by the way, speaking of, you mentioned London, we're going to London
Mm.
um in a month.
Ah, London.
What do you suggest? You've been there more than
Ooh,
I, plenty.
ooh, London.
I don't think we're going
Mm.
to do much of the touristy stuff.
I mean, you've done Tower of London when you were a kid, I think, right? Or maybe since
Probably.
then.
Yeah, I think so. That's like the castle with the
That's the
yeah.
castle. 1,000 years old. Very cool.
We went.
Um, the Churchill rooms was really cool. So I was just there with a couple of days on my own because I went to visit Allison for work for our first anniversary because that's where I proposed to her, and we had this nice little romantic trip. But I had a couple of days on my own, and I hit like a lot of museum-y type things. So the Churchill rooms were my favorite. Uh, it's real, when everyone during the Blitz in London when they were getting bombed by Nazi Germany 73 days in a row or something like that,
Mhm.
and people were living in the tubes, and the operation, Churchill's operation had like situation rooms down there that are still intact and you can tour. It's really, really cool. Cool piece of World War II history if you're into that. The the Museum of London is a small museum about like just the city of London. The best part of that, I don't want to like search through my phone right now to find it, but the best part of that, I think I may have texted this to you, is there's a picture of a guy that I've never heard of or seen in my life and credits him undisputedly with inventing the internet. It's the last thing you see when you're coming. It's like a timeline of then to now, London. And then it's like George Wallace, George Springer. I'm thinking, I don't know. Give me like a fake name. Bill Williams. Bill
Mike
Williams.
was his name Mike Internet, and that's why they call it the internet.
Internet. That was his middle name, I think. Let me pull this thing up. If I asked you who invented the internet or any other American, I got to think we have the same answer, which is I
Al
have
Gore.
no idea. Maybe Al Gore, right?
Yeah,
Um, so after the Museum of London, I went to here. I found it already.
I would think that the guy who actually invented the internet is an IT guy, right? Let's paint the picture. I don't know who he is, but he's
All right,
annoyed. He's annoyed that you asked.
pop it up. There it is. Tim Berners-Lee,
That's him.
inventor of the World Wide Web. Look at him. He is.
How he's so annoyed that
You
they're
see,
taking that picture.
yeah, because he's like, you see what I'm doing over here? I'm
I'm busy.
inventing the internet.
I'm busy. Can you leave me alone?
Yeah.
No, I can't reset your password right now. I'm inventing the internet.
What a dweeb,
Hey,
I mean,
listen.
I buy it. That picture screams I invented the internet.
Yeah.
Like this guy probably did invent the internet for all we know.
Thank you, Tim Berners-Lee.
Tim Berners-Lee. Now here's a map that I took a picture of.
Wait,
Church I
these are
wandered
your
into.
pictures.
Yeah, these are my pictures. So I took a lot of really cool. So this is what the third place that I went, the Churchill Rooms, Museum of London, and then the National. I think it's the National Museum of London, like the very famous one with the columns and all that. This is an intact. There are a lot of perks to ruling the world for a few hundred years. You pick up some pretty cool trinkets along the way, as the British Empire did, right? Like they were in charge for a while. So, you go to a lot of museums, even in New York City, and it's like cast of the wall at Herculaneum or model of replica of like this is all the actual thing, right?
Yeah,
Completely
that's cool.
intact. It's so cool. I think that was Ramses or something like that. They have these big pink. I think I'm like a photographer, so I tried to take these. Like this one. It's just a face.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is, and just like the light, the way they have it lit, it was incredible. Like I could have spent 3 days in there. They
So
have a
this is
real Easter Island statue.
this is the Museum of London.
No, this is the I don't know what the hell it was called. It's like the Museum of London was the smaller one about the city. Like this is one of the most significant archaeological finds of all time. I learned. It was some king. I don't know, one of the French king's helmets,
Okay.
and it's just chilling there. Little chess pieces. Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it was it's the one with the huge columns in the front. I don't know why I can't remember. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it. It's like their Met,
Got it.
you know?
We'll check it out. I I don't know what we're gonna do. We're only going to be there for get their Friday, leave Monday, so really 3 days.
That's a
One
quick
thing
turn.
that is it's going to be going on. I was like, well, let's go to a soccer game, right? That'd be cool. Like go to
Dude.
a Tottenham Hotspur game or something that's in London. I don't know who actually plays there. I think Chelsea. Does Chelsea play in London?
I don't
Maybe.
know.
I
I'm
don't-
not a
anyway.
stylish American. I don't know these things.
Anyway, there's no games because the World Cup is going on.
Oh, that's
Which-
right. It's going on in Qatar.
Qatar. And if England is playing in a game, we're going to a bar and watching it.
They're
Right.
playing in the game while you're there.
Yeah, well, they might be. I hope they are.
That would
World
be
Cup
nuts.
is happening. I know.
That would be nuts.
I don't know what else would be happening in the city.
Have you ever been
While
in Europe
in-
for a World Cup?
No.
I was in Nice actually for a World Cup game, and it was between, I want to say it was between Italy and France, which Nice is also between Italy and France, right? Like right there.
Mhm.
And it was wild. I mean, I didn't know what was happening. And I was walking through the streets and like every bar was over spilling with people.
Yeah.
Right. It was pretty cool. And then I found people who kind of like took me in, and it was a lot of fun. That was a good time.
I bet. And again,
Yeah.
I really think that there is nothing else to do in England when
No.
England's playing in the World Cup. So you might
It's
as well
like,
watch it
it's like
somewhere.
Pittsburgh when the Steelers are playing. You great time
A
to get your
playoff,
grocery
like the
shopping
Super
done.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
It's true. Maybe we'll go grocery shopping.
Yeah. That'll be really fun actually. I'm very jealous. I mean, the whole culture in England around pubs, I think it's so interesting, right? Like
So tell me
whatever
about it. I
town
don't
you're
know.
in, whatever town you're in, wherever you are, there's a pub, and the thing that they've done better than us in America is it's a uniform experience. If you go to a pub, you know what you're going to get. And the people who go to a pub only go there if they want that certain thing, which is like to sit and bullshit about sports, or, bitch about their wives or whatever, or bitch about their husbands or whatever it might be. So anytime you go into a pub, it's going to be that kind of environment. Everyone's going to be cool and accepting. Everyone's just there to chop it up. If you're going shopping with your wife, it's very common to pop into the pub for a pint while she does that, because it's just like instantly inserting yourself right where you left off whenever you were in the last pub, wherever it may be.
Got it.
It's a brilliant culture.
Okay.
I like
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like this bar. I'm sure there's clubs in London, but this pub is, when I picture an English pub, I'm seeing in my head, like just wood everywhere. Right.
Yeah.
Couple
Tons of
TVs,
wood.
maybe
The
big,
wood that makes it good.
big, multiple, whatever, whiskeys. There's no like underlit aluminum bar. Right. And they're not pouring, they're not like making shots.
Right.
They're not
There's
mixing
no Bud
up.
Light sign. We're open.
Right. Yeah. Right.
The,
It's something that doesn't really even look like a pub. I would
so
think.
do you
Or a
like
bar.
the flat beer, the ale?
I do.
Yeah, I like it too. It's much better than like it's much better for the digestive tract, I've found. You don't need the bubbles. Smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth, easy drinking.
That's right. That's what we're hoping to get to.
Where are you staying? What area?
We are staying at, we don't know. We haven't booked hotels yet. We're trying to do that right now, actually.
Yeah.
Not right now. But soon. We
stayed
got to
in
figure that part out.
Belgravia last time we were there, and it was pretty nice. It's a little
So one person, Sarah has a friend over there, and she said stay near the Tower Bridge.
yeah.
And
I did. That was the first time I stayed in London. I stayed right near the Tower Bridge at the Hilton Tower Bridge.
yeah, I don't know if we want to do that though.
It's not a great. Well,
It's
it's not a bad location.
it seems like it's downtown, right? Like all the buildings, all the office buildings are right there. Is that
Yeah.
is that not right?
No, it is. I mean, I was there for work. That's why I stayed there. I would say that like you're still going to be within walking distance to Tower Bridge. You're going to be within walking distance to London Eye. You'll be within walking distance to St. Paul's. There's a lot of convenient things. Yeah. I mean,
I think
it was
that's
cool.
kind of
Like it was cool to be there for my first time, like looking out my window and seeing historic London icons.
I gotcha.
But then you'll want to go to like Notting Hill.
Yeah, right. Or over near Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I was looking at Eater. Do you know that website, Eater? It's
is it like the Michelin Guide?
It's the Michelin Guide on the internet. They have certain city websites. They probably have 20 or so. Here, I'll pull it up. It's a good Eater London.
Is it just a guide for eating?
Yes, just restaurants, but it's cooler than they don't put like the Michelin star restaurants. I mean, they put good restaurants. I haven't gone anywhere where Eater is suggested like this is a place you should eat and it be bad. Does that make sense?
Bagel bake. I just love how they spelled bagel there.
We go to this 38 essential restaurants, and they have this for all the cities. There's not too many, 25 maybe.
Place
DC's
is so
got
old,
one.
That's how they used to spell bagel. It's the old English spelling of bagel.
That's it. So you look at the map here, right? This is where I was kind of looking to see where I don't know if I can expand that. I don't think I can. Just make it bigger this way. There we go. So the Tower Bridge, I think, is right here.
Yeah.
It's like right in this area.
Yeah.
But all the restaurants, which is really, that's what we like to do. Like up here and I guess Soho. I guess they have their own Soho.
Yeah, they do have their own. I think they have the original Soho.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, those are cool areas. I mean, you can take the tube from that is the nice part about being in the Tower Bridge area, is that it's very tube accessible. Right?
Yeah.
This isn't as gritty as New York or DC, but the tube will get you where you need to go if you're coming from that area.
Yeah.
And you can go both ways pretty easily. But yeah, I mean,
anything down here? Have you ever been down in this area?
Zoom in a little more. Can you zoom in a little more? Or here, let me expand my screen.
Let me try this real quick. Did it work? I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Worked. Well, do you like the robe, by the way? I wore my robe today to show you. Wait.
I was going to get to the layers you've got on in a second.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Let me I got to change my output. That's why.
Elephant and Castle. Oh, you know what?
There we go.
Last time so we were just in London, and I can't remember if I said that or not, in October, beginning of October. And
yeah,
I was looking around. It was right after the Queen died, actually, which was really interesting to see like all the flowers and the tributes and stuff. But we were I kept looking up restaurants like you. We like to hit up the cool eating scene, and I didn't know about this site. And the top rated restaurant that kept coming up after every search I made was the Hard Rock Cafe, London.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
The Hard Rock Cafe.
It really is. Yeah, the Hard Rock Cafe. So then at first I laughed it off, but then like it kept coming up. Like no matter what part of town I was in, it was like Hard Rock Cafe was most highly rated. So I started reading the reviews, and they were insane. Like the people that are gushing over the Hard Rock Cafe, first of all, most of them were not new to the Hard Rock Cafe. They were brand loyalists that go in every city. So there were a lot of comments like, well, you're going to get that classic Hard Rock Cafe service and taste, right?
Right.
As an outsider, I don't know what that means or what to expect, but they were very pleased with this Hard Rock Cafe. It has like 4.8 out of 5 stars, which is fucking crazy if you think about it.
I got more. I got one more. I'll play it when it's appropriate. Hang on. But yeah, Hard Rock Cafe. So that's why you go to Eater, because that's the thing. If you search restaurants in City X, it's just always dumb shit. You gotta rely. If you find a guide that is good, you stick with it, man.
So you see Belgravia there on the left, like on the Middle East, or the far west of the map. That's where we stayed last time, which was okay. It was right by a tube station, which is cool. We hung out a little in Paddington. We went to Covent Garden.
That great.
It really is. It's wonderful. And
I should have done whatever you said. We went there right after the Queen died.
Oh, too soon, Richard. You can't do that. Look,
me and Allison went to London. Monarch. Yeah.
Can we talk about the most interesting?
All right, I'm done. You can't overuse it.
You can't overuse it. I don't think. I'm counting on you to use that wisely.
I got it.
So what's his name? The dude, not Prince Philip. Who's the king now?
Charles.
King Charles.
Who's the king? What's his name? Yeah, what's
king, it begins with a C. Charles.
King Chuck.
It begins with a Charles. So, I mean, that guy's life has sucked from day one.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Stop.
No, I'm not.
Stop it.
Look, there's degrees
I don't want to hear
everything. It. Just because you have a lot of comfort doesn't mean that you're comfortable. Thank you. Thank you.
Listen,
any day now you're gonna get a big promotion. Any day now, Rich, and that goes on for what, 52 years? You think that's easy?
You say retire at 52?
No.
Oh, you're talking about him.
Him, yeah. So any day now, you're gonna ascend to be the king. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it.
He's older than that.
No. I think that's how many years he waited to be king.
He waited his entire, however old he is how long he's been waiting, right?
So maybe that's what it is. I heard it was something like 50 years. But there was a solid 25 of those years where it probably did feel like any day now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Queenie was doing good, but she was pretty old.
I bet
that's a tough thing to deal with mentally.
I bet it's worse for him now than it was when he was Prince Charles.
Being king, you mean?
Yeah, I bet that's worse than being Prince.
So you roll your eyes at me saying that he had a tough life and then say that being king is worse than being a prince.
Yeah, I think being Prince Charles was amazing.
Really? That's interesting.
You have less responsibility. First of all,
right.
Do you think any of them have ever used a credit card? Like, I don't understand.
I bet they haven't touched money in decades.
Exactly. So now he's actually the face of the monarchy, right?
And now he's on the money.
Before he wasn't. So I
see how you compare and contrasted those two.
It's like being the kid. It's like being the kid in a family-run business. Like, it's way better for you than it is your parents.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
When you take over, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's
my point.
Dad do this again? Was it? Where did he keep the receipts? Boy, this isn't for
me. Where's that checkbook?
Well, I think that's why like so many second generations blow it.
No, it's not. It's third. Third generation is the one. That was in. Remember that book? Was it Millionaire Next Door? Yeah,
Millionaire Next Door. Was that Ben Mesrich?
I don't know. I don't know what that is. It was a book. It was about how. Let's look it up. To the internet.
To the internet.
Millionaire Next Door. The idea is Thomas J. Stanley. Close.
Ooh, TJ Stanley, huh? Yeah,
The idea
it's been on
is,
my list for a while.
and maybe it wasn't even that book. Anyway, it's not worth showing. The idea is that, the parents, first generation starts the business.
Okay, that's
Excuse me. They work like crazy. They work like crazy. The kids of that generation also work like, take it to the next level. Usually the first generation isn't the one who gets super rich. It's usually the second generation.
Right.
And then the kids of that generation are the ones that blow it.
Right. The first thing that popped in my head was Nordstrom. First Nordstrom opened a shoe store. Second Nordstrom, I believe, is the one in charge now and about to retire. And then I'm sure his kids will blow it. Or
fingers crossed.
Right? Is it the idea that the third generation grew up with too much comfort?
Yeah.
They were the prince of the city.
Yep.
Yeah,
they were too far removed from the original idea or the work ethic or whatever however you want to frame it, that they just don't have the drive to keep that going. And they spend the money and
small businesses too.
That's how yeah, absolutely.
Like, is that going to happen with like Minio's Pizza? You think?
I don't know. Probably. Okay. I mean, again, the third generation is it's tough because at some point, there's also this idea of you grow up and that is not only you're like expected to do that. And then it's also your identity, like working in a family run business. And some people are okay with that, but a lot of people resent that. Maybe. I don't know.
It's your identity because
it's kind of, think of it this way. You're like, well, we're grooming you just like the Godfather. When they, at the very end of Godfather 2, right? When they said, me and your father, Tom Hagen and Don Corleone had plans for Michael. And he's like, you had plans for me? Like, what do you mean? I want to do my own thing. Like, I don't want to be in the family business. A little different. Maybe not for Minio's.
It probably isn't that different. I bet that the Minio's, you can't make pizza that delicious without having some pretty serious connections to OC, as it's called.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of pizza and family business, so DeFera Pizza in Brooklyn, we've talked about this before. The place is amazing. It's in
it's in the Michelin Guide, I believe.
Yeah. It's the guy who was DeFera just passed away. He was 80 something. He made every single pizza every time they were open at that place. And he was old and that was it. He died last year, I think.
Okay.
And now, very publicly, the son of him who has taken over, they've split. There's now DeFera. There's like a bunch of offshoots of DeFera that are showing up in different parts of Brooklyn and Manhattan and stuff like that. And then there's the original DeFera, and it's the children of this guy.
Do you follow Portnoy, Dave Portnoy?
Yeah.
His One Bite. This is so often the story with pizza places. It's insane. Mm-hmm. The only family I know personally in the pizza business has the same story, the Sinceris in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You have Bellinote right across the street from Penmac, same family. They do not get along. At one point, they split. That it is so common. Minio's and Aiello's in Squirrel Hill, same thing. Was the same family, split off. Now they're 3 doors down from each other, bitter rivals.
Yep.
Is it about pizza that divides us, Rich?
How is that not a Bravo show, man?
Yeah. The
Pizza
real
Wars.
pizza husbands of Pittsburgh.
The real pizza husbands of different neighborhoods in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the real pizza husbands of Pittsburgh's Middle East.
Anyway, DeFera's
Middle East end.
The DeFera situation is playing out very publicly on Instagram, and it's being like blogs about this guy who is every time he posts something, he's like, I want to be very clear. I do not have anything to do with my sister Margaret or the pizza store in Staten Island or the pizza store in Manhattan. I don't know what that is. There's someone there named Dino making the pizza. We don't really care.
I'm not vouching for him. I don't know what ingredients he's using.
I was supposed to be training the pizza man in the Staten Island store, and he insulted the way my father made pizza, and the people who ran the store were okay with it, and they allowed it to continue. And I said, I can no longer be a part of this. Like, I love it, man.
I can no longer attest to the making of this pizza.
That's right.
That's very. I don't know what it is, man. There's something about making pizza that brings out the soap opera in people, right?
Well, I wonder if that's one of those businesses. Just maybe it's not pizza. Maybe it's every restaurant where that, you start a restaurant and your kids are working in that restaurant. Period.
Yeah.
What do you think? You're gonna let your kid go to get a job at the mall,
right?
And not wash dishes,
and it's the kind of thing where like you're always there, like you live there. If you're a small business owner like that, like you're living at that restaurant. But there's like not that many ways to make pizza, right?
I've had a lot of pizza and it tastes different.
Yeah, everywhere. You're right. Actually, you're right. It does. And good pizza, I think the disparity between good pizza and bad pizza is much smaller than it is in other like very beloved foods. Like the different, bad pizza is still very good, but like a bad hamburger is bad. You know what I mean? So I think that like more often than not, you're going to leave a pizza place satisfied than you are like a burger joint or like, another example, or sushi or like,
if you're going to a pizza restaurant, if you're getting pizza at, I don't even know if TGI Fridays has pizza, but maybe they do. A place like that, I bet it's in the Michelin Guide. It's referenced specifically in the Michelin Guide.
Yeah.
The Fox Chapel TGI Fridays. But if you're a pizza restaurant, you probably have done well enough to or perfected your recipe well enough to actually open a restaurant where that's all you serve. So it can't be that bad. So I agree with you there. But there is DeFera. You talked about Dave Portnoy. I think that was the highest rated pizza he's ever rated. It was it was unbelievable. I could not stop eating. I could have eaten that until I died. Seriously. Until it ran out.
Give me a description of it. What makes it so unique or special?
It just the taste was so good. It was
start from the beginning. Is it thin crust, thick crust? Does it look like a regular pizza you get when you order it?
This is worth pulling up.
Or is it like have like arugula and prosciutto on it?
So if they cut fresh basil on top of it. Which is great. Here's a picture of it. That's South Street. Let me make sure I get the right one here. This is the Philly guy. No. So
where is it?
This guy.
Oh, it's in New York.
Yeah, it's in
Brooklyn.
Avenue J. Yeah, it's in a very I know. It's like the only non-Hebrew or non-kosher, I should say, restaurant within that we could see, and we waited
in that area.
Yeah, it was. It's unbelievable, though.
Okay, so it doesn't look like a regular pizza, but it's pretty close. It's so far off the map that it's super gourmet. Is that it right there? The one right.
This is it.
There you go. Okay, this is delicious.
It was.
It also looks like exactly like what Portnoy likes.
He likes the thin. It definitely didn't. It was greasy, but it didn't fold over. Like you could pick up one slice and hold it. I want to see this
confirmation that this is the highest on One Bite, because I thought that John's of Bleecker was his favorite. But
all right, hang on.
Yeah.
Was it? What do they call it?
One Bite highest rated
pizza rankings. I'm sure there's a website that has them all listed.
It's called One Bite. Sally's.
Where is it?
New Haven.
Where is it? Hang on.
New Luke Hawley was Walmart, there, which is also in Brooklyn.
Fuck out of here.
Well, he sells his own brand One Bite frozen pizzas. That's 2018. Yeah.
Let's get out of images. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the problem. Not the fact that it wasn't on
One Bite pizza rankings.
There you go. DeFera 9.4. That is.
I don't know what this is.
Incredibly high. Well,
9.4. John's Bleecker 9.3.
there is one bite that Portnoy rated, and then there's the community ratings, right? So he may not have rated it a 9.4, but the community has rated it a 9.4 because you can submit your own ratings on the One Bite app, and just like anything else, the more followers you have, the more valid your vote is.
All right.
Dude, I'm sure.
Can
I don't know
play this? I wonder if we can hear this. Let me just see if I can play this and we can hear it. Can you hear that?
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep playing it. Let's see what happens. I'm here at the Farah Pizza, and hey, okay, Frankie. I don't know. I come out. I got my Michigan jacket on, and I got 2 slices. He gives me 2 slices. The guy. I said, every slice. He says he gives me 2 slices.
Everyone says I gotta come out here and I gotta try this pizza. And he did say Frankie.
So what do? I'm a man of the people. I come out.
You gotta go to fucking Brooklyn.
The guy say I gotta go to Brooklyn. I come in there. The guy hands me a slice. And then he says, no, hold on. I'll make another pie. And I say, how long? He says 10 minutes. 20 minutes go by. Here I am.
All right.
Seems happy. When he goes in for that second and third bite that he's enjoying himself. Yeah. If he goes back in for another bite, that's a strong, strong indication.
What's he got?
He's like,
get the number. 9.4.
That's fucking ridiculous. Like that's so high.
All right,
I'm gonna try it.
I believe it. You should. It's honestly, worth the trip.
Yeah, but do you know how much of a trip that is from the suburbs of New Jersey?
That's true. Now you even live farther away.
Yeah, that's a good hour and a half.
Well,
drive. Maybe on the weekend we can make it down a little bit more. But we've just completed a 6-day stretch where we drove into the city and back first thing in the morning, like 5 out of 7 days.
For work or what?
4 in a row for Allison's blood test. And we're trying to get pregnant. It's not a big deal. Just, so she could get monitored. And,
I understand.
But it's a 3-hour round trip to Madison Avenue and back where the doctor is, which is
Yikes.
Brutal. Labor of love, but brutal.
A doctor on Madison Avenue. That's very Sex in the City of
Mad Men.
Of you guys. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Only the best. Madison Avenue.
Dr. Flisser. Shout out Dr. Flisser. I'm sure you're watching. Thanks, buddy.
He's not. No one's watching.
Are you sure? Would it say if it were him?
It would. We would be able to find out. You watch this stream. And this is something we're coming for you.
You know what? I like Dr. Flisser, but I met him over Zoom the first time because we started this during Zoom times. And then when I met him in person, he was a lot taller than I realized on Zoom. Yeah, I didn't care for that one bit. I had him sized up, thought I knew what he was, saw him in person. He's this mountain of a man. And I thought, whoa, I got to readjust everything now, Yeah. Feels dishonest to me, but maybe some people will see it a different way.
So let's get into these layers you got. Oh, is it just the robe? That's your flannel line robe, I see.
See, and now check out the sleeves. See how they're like
I see
sleeves, So it feels like you're wearing a hooded sweatshirt, but really you're wearing a robe. I look like a prize fighter or like a old prize fighter.
I'll tell you what, maybe we do these if we end up doing more of these morning ones, the robe should be I'll wear mine. It is especially during the winter time. I didn't even think of it. It's so warm and it's hot. It's actually not. It's gonna be in the mid 70s here today.
Yeah, same. We got the same kind of warm spell.
Yeah. Once it gets colder in this basement, it gets really cold. And I would wear it to work like down here last winter. So I'll wear it next time.
In your basement in the winter. It was cold. We were strumming the old guitar.
We were.
That thing. Not so easy to point on this.
The other one's no. I'm getting used to the other one's this way. I put this rack in. Recently? I only have 2, but I'm gonna get more to fill this rack out, especially now that we're broadcasting Superstars. You got to work on the set. You know,
Yeah. What do you
yours is.
think of this? Does this look okay?
I think it looks good. I
Yeah.
think
A
it looks
lot of
good.
people ask me if it's a fake Zoom background on work calls,
Really,
but yeah.
that's a compliment.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a nice thing. That's my plant, Jermaine. That's his name.
Welcome
hi,
to the show,
Jermaine.
Jermaine.
Take a bow.
Welcome to the show.
He's being shy.
I don't mind these. I tell you what, this morning thing, it was a little tough getting up, but I feel more relaxed doing
Sharp.
it. Yeah, just like first thing in the morning. We should continue to try different things.
I felt relaxed until I drank that cup of coffee, as I promised I would, and now I genuinely feel like I can't even. When we first got up, I was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll do this, and then I'll get like another half hour of sleep." I don't even think I'm going to be able to sit down after this, let alone sleep. I'm up. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I am ready for the day. Bring it on. Bring it on. And I've had, like 3/4 of a cup of coffee.
That's a big cup.
Big cup.
How much? How do you make your coffee?
Oh, hotly contested issue here in the Selkovitz household. So I pushed for. I like the old coffee pot. Give me a Mr. Coffee, right?
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, I'm not a coffee drinker, right? I drink coffee maybe once a week, but I like the idea of a pot of coffee instead of pods. Pods make me feel like I'm staying at a Hilton Garden Inn, right? I'm not into that. So I like the pot brewing. You smell it through the house. It's aromatic. It stays warm. You come over, you pour yourself however much you want. You don't feel like you're wasting if it's not a Podsworth. Henry Podsworth Longfellow. Thank you. And you move on with your day. Well, she who must not be named purchased a certain coffee maker from Crate and Barrel. It was very aesthetically pleasing, but it just didn't work at all.
Really?
So now we're back on the pods. She didn't even ask me. I just came home one day and she had just replaced it. And who am I to judge or push back?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pods. Long way of saying we're pods now. What about you?
Pods meaning Keurig.
Keurig it's not pods. A Keurig. It's a Nespresso.
Okay, that's what we have that now. Sarah loves it. When I was drinking a lot of coffee, I was doing French press.
Oh, that's right. You made me a French press when I was there.
We never had a coffee maker, and I wasn't drinking a lot of coffee at that point. And so it was like, we were in the condo, and it was just countertop spaces limited. And she had a French press. I was like, sure, that's fine. And it was good. But I would drink like one of those myself a day, which was, it was probably almost 2 of these size mugs.
Damn.
And it was affecting my decision making, like work decision making.
Like more.
I could
more
not.
Whiskey?
Yeah, I just couldn't take a breath and like consider things I needed to consider before acting.
Boy, isn't that like that's such a. As I get older, I notice that more and more that the things, whatever I felt that was giving me an edge as a younger person, which is caffeine or anything that gives you energy, right, is not better now, because you're right. Like it anything that makes you feel like you're up.
Yeah.
It's subtle, but it really does change your decision making.
It does. And at certain points, the decisions you make at work are kind of permanent for you, right? I mean, you can mess up when you're working at FedEx as inside salesman. Yeah, no one really cares.
24-year-old, and no one gives a shit. They don't expect much from you.
That changes at some point, and so I cut coffee out completely, and I was never addicted to the caffeine. Like never gave me a headache or anything to not drink it. I like it. I really like drinking coffee. I hate the taste of decaffeinated coffee. It's really? So it was the caffeine that was making me jittery, but I don't like decaffeinated coffee enough to like drink it. I just don't. So I don't drink anything.
My dad drinks coffee. I think he might do half calf now, but he My dad only drinks coffee out of a styrofoam takeout cup. So if he goes to a restaurant, he asks them to give it to him at the table in a styrofoam takeout cup. And like you can imagine the most confusing conversations that have ensued. They're like, okay, so whenever you're done, we'll get you a takeout cup. And he's like, no, actually, I want the takeout cup now, here, right now. And they're like, but you're not taking it out. Why would you? I'm like, well, it's just the way I like it. I would say he's got like a 3 out of 10 success rate there.
Yeah. So we're
Not an
talking.
easy thing to explain.
We're not talking like a coffee specific little cup with the coffee lid on it, and then
No,
maybe the
that would be way
sleeve.
too rational for this.
You're talking
man.
about the white styrofoam
Correct.
cup that you would get a fruit punch in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's the one, and the only one that he wants.
That's
The
awesome.
only one. Yeah, which can be found at like kids' birthday parties and AA meetings. Those are the only places in the world that you'll find those styrofoam cups, right? That have like the ridges, like the little ridge designs and the big lip,
Yeah. The big lips. That's what they
big
call
lip styrofoam cup. Oh, look at that. The sun's
Yeah.
coming in and illuminating my bald head. It looks like a piece of my head is missing.
Yeah, it does. Oh, some would say it actually does. It actually is.
Good one.
Yeah, so I'd had an espresso this morning. It's okay, but I prefer just coffee with just a little bit of half and half in it. That's it. No sugar.
Good for
or
you.
black.
I'm heavily addicted to sugar. I'm trying to reduce.
Oh, well, so am I.
I'm
But
deep in the
yeah.
throes of sugar addiction. Just
I'll tell you what. I used to
on the street looking for my next gram of sugar.
every once in a while, my company would ask for volunteers to help out at a food, like a kitchen, for breakfast. And the amount of sugar that that everyone who walked through there put in their coffee was insane. I had never, those they have those. You've seen the sugar, like a diner with a dome topped, and it's got the little door on it.
Yeah, it's really cool dispenser.
It is a third of one of those in every cup, every
God.
small big lip. It was insane. Like it's
big lip.
They have the big lips, right? Like the 20 ounces. But these are the 12-ounce big lips.
Yeah, that's a lot of sugar.
That was a lot of sugar, and even for me, who
I'm a big cream guy.
Yeah,
like
cream's
half
great.
and half instead of milk.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't people use half and half in cereal?
I don't know.
It's delicious. It's better than milk in every way. Why don't people just use cream? It's way better.
We already have a childhood obesity epidemic in this country. The last thing we need to do is it's better.
It's better.
It's certainly better than half and half. Like literally it's twice as healthy.
If I could go back and tell my 10-year-old self something, it would be ditch the milk, go straight to half and half for your cereal. Yeah, you're going to gain a couple pounds, but you're going to be a lot happier.
Yeah, I can see that conversation going down. Mom, listen, I've tasted heavy whipping cream.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
I need it for my sugar cereal.
I said this to Shira one day, and she said that she accidentally put heavy cream in her coffee one day instead of half and half, and it was the best day of her life.
Yeah,
because I asked her the same thing. I was like, why don't people put like heavy cream in coffee? Or when we were in France for a honeymoon, you order cream with your coffee, and it's like real cream that if it sits out too long, curdles and starts to smell really bad. But when it's in that sweet spot, ooh.
That's what they use whenever they make coffees. You go to a coffee shop and you get the one with the designs, right? You've seen them put it in there, and it kind of like makes on the top. I mean, it's just it's all
like froth cream.
It's all cream.
That's frothed milk, though, isn't it?
I think it depends, but they're not using 2%, right?
Yeah,
they're using heavy stuff. That's why it's good.
Regular unleaded. Do we need to say that our do we need to say that our gas is unleaded still? Do you even know what that means?
I assume it means there's no lead in the gas.
Like, was there? Did there used to be lead? I don't think in our lifetime. And so, like, do
That's
we
the
need to
internet, guys.
specify? So here you don't pump your gas. Do you know that in New Jersey?
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. So someone else pumps it for you. I'm going to start saying, I'd like a full tank of regular unleaded, please. Unless you have leaded, in which case I would very much like the leaded fuel, sir.
Yes, please give me the leaded. Leaded must have been better, right?
I doubt it.
Or
Otherwise, they
cheaper.
wouldn't be tripping over themselves to specify unleaded. I think it was probably like paint, where there was lead in a lot of commonly made.
And that paint's
items.
Amazing. We have a lot of lead paint in this house.
Till it kills you and your family. Do you really?
That's right. Yeah. All of the windows in this house. It's fine if you don't touch it. But if it like the dust gets, you start breathing the dust, that's a problem.
Well, why would you leave it on?
It's like
there?
asbestos.
Well, asbestos is the same thing, but you breathe in asbestos even without the dust, right? Doesn't asbestos just kind of eventually become part of the air molecules?
I think the issue with asbestos is that it naturally degraded. So even if you didn't touch it, it would, like you said, it would
like at the Bronson
come
house.
apart. It would come apart like at the Bronson.
Play it
house.
under a dome of asbestos.
Yeah, it wouldn't have caught on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, lead paint is great, man. It lasts forever, but it's not great for you.
No.
But they don't. Yeah, we have same with lead pipes, man. There's a reason all this stuff was made out of lead. It lasts, until the next Great War.
Right.
But not super to ingest things through or by. Anyway,
so lead pipes aren't a thing anymore either?
They're replacing them. In DC, they're replacing them everywhere. We saw a few houses when we were looking for this one that still had lead intake pipes from the main water line in the street.
Damn.
And you have to have a filter on it or get it replaced, but that's a city thing. And yeah, we saw a place that had asbestos in tiles in the basement, a lead intake pipe. Is like, holy shit. And it was still at the top of our budget. Like, we can't even live here.
How is that possible? That's like a death trap that they're selling you for all of your money and then some.
The one cool thing about that place was it was so close to the zoo that you could hear the animals.
No way.
And we were there in the morning or pretty early, 8 or 9 a.m. and they were feeding them and you could hear the monkeys losing it.
Really?
And hear the lions roaring. Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
I know.
Wow.
I love that.
I've never even thought about people who live near the zoo and must feel like they're living in the rainforest. Because you're hearing like such exotic animals. What kind of noise does a giraffe make? We don't know because we don't live near a zoo. It's probably like
something. How interesting would it be if a giraffe was like? That's how giraffes greeted each other.
That feels very appropriate for a giraffe. They look like they'd be like, "Oh, look who's here, Jeffrey! Big Toys R Us campaign. Ooh, big man."
All right, I think we end it there. We're over an hour. It's episode 3, man. We've got like 3 hours done on this. This is great.
We're fresh here in the morning.
Yeah, I think we got to do another. I don't think the morning's bad. I was thinking about this. Like, if people were actually gonna tune into this and listen, it may be while they're getting ready.
You want to do a drive time show, is what you're saying?
Drive time YouTube.
You want to hit that drive time?
Listen, everyone who's driving into work, what are they doing? They're watching YouTube on their phones while they're
I know I am
doing one of these. But anyway. I don't think this was terrible. We do have to play a game. The issue is you have a Mac.
Yeah. Well, that's why we go to the console. I just think we need to find a streaming service like this for the console. Because they have to have streaming services that show 2 screens.
Maybe. It's a little more complicated than it seems like it should be.
Well, because we're both getting different levels of internet service that's always
Right.
changing. So how do they keep it synced up with audio and to different streams that is really the same stream?
It's not. It's a matter of the software, like the software being able to. This is like interview software. It's like Zoom, right? It's
Yeah.
tough to get Zoom on your Xbox. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, I think if you plug a camera in, I definitely think there's something for this that I saw, but let me do some research into this because I think
Do
there's
some
like
research, but look in the Mac as well. Maybe that there's games that we don't have to.
Mac
We can
is
just do it.
it's not there's never been something I've seen on the Mac for gaming where it is better than it's the worst possible gaming machine you can have.
Yeah, but all we need to do for this purpose is to be able to play it. That's it. Because then
I think we should be able to play it.
We're playing the game, and then I just add it to this screen, right? Like this. That's it. That's leaded
All right.
gas, by the way. I was doing some
Super
looking at
unleaded.
leaded. That guy's the leaded gas guy.
Okay, so that contains lead. Now go to a toxic breakthrough. 1921. So we're still calling it unleaded.
That's it.
Not so fun fact. Wait, go back up. What's the not so fun fact? Thomas Midgley Jr., a scientist who played a key role in what proved to be a calamitous discovery, also developed chlorofluorocarbons, a class of refrigerants that went on to damage the ozone layer. What an asshole.
This guy.
Thomas Midgley Jr.
Let's see what he looks like.
Yeah. See what this egg looks like, of course.
Look at this guy. Yeah. Let me
how
destroy the ozone.
One of the pictures is just a bottle of ethyl alcohol next to his image. The man who harmed the world the most. What an obituary. That's ridiculous. This is how his family remembers
with his deadly inventions greatly contributed to the environmental problems we face today.
Oh my gosh, dude, he's from Beaver Falls.
Oh my God.
Which is where my parents are from, near where my parents are from, Beaver County, Pennsylvania.
They might know him. It'd be funny, like Thomas Midgley Jr., like Thomas Midgley III had to change his name.
How many, what do you think his lifetime total of friends was?
He's globally regarded as one of the worst inventors. This is such a good read this
sentence. He is globally regarded as one of the worst inventors who greatly contributed to the environmental problems we face today, and the world will still be facing at least 100 years after his death. His obituary should read Thomas Midgley Jr. What an asshole.
Oh my God. Yeah, this guy. Beaver Falls, huh?
Yeah.
He's from there. I wonder if he did this work while he was. Who did he work for?
GM.
Can you imagine? Look at this quote. I don't even know what's in reference to.
How much money we're going to make? Right. We're going to make $200 million, maybe even more, said Midgley. While he was recovering from lead poisoning after demonstrating it was totally safe by inhaling lead gas for 60 seconds. What an asshole.
Oh, he worked at GM. Oh my God, dude. This guy. Thomas Midgley, like what a villain.
New lead gasoline invention was poisonous, yet he went on with it. Several deaths of employees at the prototype plant in Dayton, Ohio.
This guy, we don't read about him in history books. 8th grade. Yikes. All right, well, the Thomas Midgley
curves. My God, look at that. Economist and housing author of the book The Lucifer Curves, The Legacy of Lead Poisoning, found a relation between lead pollution and violent crime. Oh yeah, because it makes you go crazy.
Yeah.
You know what, Rich? Maybe it wasn't the caffeine that was affecting your decision making. Maybe it was your lead paint.
Maybe it was our Windows.
Maybe it was your Microsoft Windows 95.
All right. I think
brother.
that's it. Let's figure this out. But this is a good one. Episode 3 in the books.
In the books.
Peace.
Later, bud.